What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. I hope you guys had a great duck season. Going ahead, I'm going to clean my Benelli Nova, get it ready for the gun safe. So the other day was the last day of the duck season, and a few days previous I had it in this gun case and it got wet. So the barrel was real rusty. I was able to clean it up. I think I have a short video of how rusty it was. I'll go ahead and play that now. I had my gun in a floating gun case from Tangle Free, and I really like it, by the way. I'm not dogging it, but I think I got it the case a little wet. So usually I clean my gun once every 2 hunts. That's what I try to do, and it's been sitting in that case for a couple days since I haven't been hunting, and let's see if you guys can tell. Man, it's got some rust on it now. So I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and clean the gun. So first you're going to want to take your sling off, and the gun is unloaded, as you can see. Go ahead and come on now. I'm gonna have to cut that a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now that you got the sling off, you gotta go ahead and close it. It is unloaded. I've checked multiple times. Now you're gonna take this end piece off. And this is what I really like about the Nova, is it has this little tip on the cap. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over, there's two sides. There's this side, it's a little bit bigger, and then there's these sides. So what you want to do is get your cap, push those out. It's just like a punch. And that's what I like about this gun, is there's no tools required. Everything is included in the gun, so you don't have to bring a bunch of tools with you. Just pull those pins out. Now this takes a little bit of force, but don't worry, you're not going to break anything. But first, let's go ahead and just take the barrel off. It's going to come off with the cap. Just gonna get it, put it in your finger group, just pull it out just like that. So now, all that's left is your bolt. So you're just gonna finesse it off of your foregrip or your pump, whatever you want to call it. Then now, all you have left is this bolt right in here. So this compresses. So what I like to do is push it down. It still gets hung up a little bit, but that comes right out. Now, it's completely empty. So, like I said, that gun was filthy the other day. So when I got back home, I went ahead and cleaned it just a little bit, but I didn't oil it or anything because I wanted to make this video. So, what you're gonna need is some Q-tips, and as you can see, this is one of them that I used yesterday. It was pretty nasty, but all I was doing was I was getting up in here and cleaning all of that. But make sure that your gun is on safety. Now nothing's gonna shoot, but if it's not on safety, you pull the trigger, that happens, the hammer drops. And if your hand's right here when that hammer drops, it hurts. Go ahead and ask me how I know. So you're just gonna go in here, just get all the dirt, just get all that stuff. Now, like I said, I cleaned it all yesterday so that you guys don't have to sit here and watch me clean it. So I'm going to use some of this Hops gun oil. It's not that I'm like, I prefer it, but the thing that I like about it is the nozzle for it. So with this nozzle, you really don't have to squeeze. You can just kind of turn it upside down. So what I like to do is first is start off right here where the trigger, or where the hammer drops, right in here. So I'll let you see that again. So you see how it moves right here? So that needs oil. Wherever it's gonna move, it needs oil. And it doesn't need a lot. So like I was saying, I'm not really squeezing this bottle, I'm more just turning it upside down, and that little bit of gravity is helping just enough oil to get out, in my opinion. I don't like to put too much oil on my guns, just because I hunt the Rio Grande, and it's going to, more oil you put, the more likely the sand's going to get in there. So there's another spot where things are moving. Just going to get it in there, a little bit in there, Kind of squeezed it in there a little bit. I like to put just a little bit. These are just the holes where your pins are going to go. I just like to put it in there because sometimes if I don't, it's going to get a little rough. But so there's that. So now we'll go over to the bolt, whatever you want to call it. So what I really like to do is first, so get your pocket knife out, and you see that little thingy right there? That's holding the firing pin in place. So just get that up a little bit. Now hold the back because it'll shoot out if you're not holding it. So that comes out, and there's your firing pin right there. Now I did clean it yesterday, and it looks like it built up a little bit more residue. So I'm just going to get my paper towel or rag, whatever you want. I like to use a paper towel because you can throw it away. Just wipe that off. It's all clean now. I'll put my spring back on. Oops. Put it back in there. Now you get your pin, and now you have to compress it again. Pin goes back in there, and now it's locked into place. Now, I like to get my oil again. Again, no pressure. Just letting it put a little bit in there. Work it a little bit. No pressure again. I'm just going to let it run along the outside. Work it in there. And that's all I do for the bolt. Now, I'm going to show you guys my barrel. So, like I was saying, my barrel was pretty rusty, and as you can see, it still is a little bit rusty, like right there. So, what I have here is some 4/0 steel wool. So this is the lightest, or the finest, whatever you want to call it, steel wool there is, or that they make. And I'm not scraping it. I'm just barely putting any pressure on it, just trying to work that rust off. And as you guys can see from that video that I played from yesterday, it's done a lot. So, but it's still there. So I'm having to just come back, redo it a little bit, and I want it to be real nice because it's only going to get worse the longer it sits in my safe. So I'm just going to do that right there. So I'll get that even better later. But all I'm going to do is just fold up a paper towel, and I have this Hops No. 9 synthetic blend. This is for a bore cleaner. So I'm just going to get some of that, take the cap off, fold up my paper towel. Now, like I said, you can use a rag, whatever you want. I like paper towels just because I'm going to end up throwing it all away anyway. Just get the tip wet, just a little bit like that. And then just start working it in all over. So when your gun's all oiled up, see all that rust that already came off just from that steel wool? So you will work it out. It just takes some time. Now you're just going to flip over to the dry side of your paper towel and just get the excess off. I'm not trying to completely dry it off. I'm just getting the excess off. And see, I'm still getting rust off of it. I don't want to have too much on there, but I still want some on there. So there's that guy. Go ahead and throw that away. Now, last thing, I'm going to take my choke out. Now, like I said, this is something that I really only clean my gun this well once a year at the end of the season. Usually I'll clean my gun once every 2 hunts, and I normally won't take my choke out for that. But since it's the end of the year, I'm going to just take this choke out. No pressure on the bottle again. Just flip it upside down, put a little line on it, and then I'm just going to put it all in the threads, all around it. Get another paper towel. That was a terrible noise. Go ahead and clean that off. Got some carbon buildup from all the shot that I put through this. I'm going to put it back into the barrel. It's a Pattern Master choke, by the way. I really recommend them. Okay, so now I'm just going to, so now all you have left is your empty polymer stock. This is all one piece. There's no transfer from the stock to a metal frame. It's all polymer stock, which I thought is cool. So last thing is, let's see how well you guys can see this. There's a little groove in there, and there's a spring. If you guys can see that, at least I hope you guys can hear it. So that's gonna need some oil, just a little bit. Like I say, I don't really put too much oil on, but I'm just gonna put one little drop right in there, right there. Okay, so I put 2 drops in there. I missed on one of the shots, so I'm gonna have to wipe it up just a little bit. And I'm just gonna use that extra oil from that one that I missed that I dropped in there, just kind of put it all over. Less rubbing possible, the better. So there's that. So now we're gonna go ahead and reassemble it. So now I'm just gonna get my bolt, gonna compress it again. And it takes a little bit of working. I got that in there pretty easy. So now your foregrip, your pump, whatever you want to call it, it has 2 guide rails on it. So I'm not sure why they did that. I'm sure that they have a purpose for it, but it's the only gun that I can remember that has 2 guide rails on it. So you're just gonna have to kind of finesse them into these 2 little grooves, these holes, whatever you want to call it. Come on, man. There we go. Okay, got that in there. Now, it's comfortable right there because that's where it wants to lay whenever the pump is forward. I'm just gonna pull it back just a little bit. I'm gonna push these 2 guide rails up. I'm gonna slide my bolt underneath. Now this has teeth that fit right into place on that bolt. So I was able to pick it up. I'm gonna put it right into place. Put those 2 on top of it. Now get your trigger group, put it on there, push it all the way forward and all the way down. Now this right here is going to give you some problems if you don't push it all the way in. When you're trying to put your pins in, it'll give you a little bit of resistance. So just make sure it's all the way down. Now one of these pins is a little bit longer than the other. And it looks like it's this one right here. So if I remember right, the longer pin goes to the front. And you can tell because it's going to be flush. So the shorter pin goes to the back, just like that. So now you can pull it all the way forward, or no, I'm sorry. You have to leave a little bit of room in there. Put your barrel back on, get your end cap, screw it back on until you hear it like that. Just tighten it up. Okay, now let it fall, and I can see that it dropped. Everything's well oiled. If it's not, and there's some carbon buildup or some sand in there, and you try to drop it, it really won't move. So I can tell, just because I've had this gun for so long, that I know that when it's clean, I can drop it and it'll come back about that far. So I hope you guys like this video. If you want to see this gun in action, go check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you guys on the next one.